Just a quick update on the Toyota project, the 1981 Toyota. Been kind of battling the rains, and so it's been sitting here. But today, I finally got it completely painted, the frame and all the parts. Kind of concentrating just on the frame for now, or all the black parts. The product I used on the frame that worked real well, I did do the sanding down. I used various like sanding pads, wire wheels, everything I could think of. Rented a pressure washer. Also kind of blew the inside out as best I could. This frame, when I got it, clear up into these holes here, was full of dirt, just absolutely full of dirt. So got all that out, dried it out. The problem I had is devising something that I could put the Cora-Seal, and then I used epoxy primer on the inside as well. And I tried this, bought it real cheap from Home Depot, just a garden sprayer, and I ended up buying one of these little tire things, real simple. You just drill through and then poke the tire thing through. And at the end, I cut off the sprayer that it came with, added this tube, and then I bought one of these little fittings that goes on the end, and it sprays kind of out in 4 directions. And I found that it worked okay for the Cora-Seal, but what I found that worked better than this thing, which cost me like 15 bucks, was just taking a spray can tip off of a normal spray can, and then I took this out, put that in, and it seemed to kind of spray aerosol style a little bit better. If I had to do it again, I probably would try just the natural garden spray that came with it, but being I destroyed it, that wasn't really a possibility. So I got the Cora-Seal in the frame really well. That was no problem. And then it just drained out some of the holes. But when I went to do the epoxy primer inside, I could not get it to kind of aerosol spray. It just sort of jetted out paint. So I found that I really went through a lot more of the epoxy primer, not paint. Really went through a lot of epoxy primer on the inside of the frame. So if I were to do it again, I'd try to find something that aerosoled better. So the inside of the frame, did the Cora-Seal, epoxy primer, and then that's all I'm going to do on the inside of the frame. On the outside, did everything in Cora-Seal, which it ended up black, just like this, with the Cora-Seal. Then I put the epoxy primer, black once again, and then today I just hit it with chassis black. So now everything's been painted with chassis black. And it's about as good as it's gonna get. It's like everything else. If I had a shop, if I had more time and more money, probably could have got it better. But I'm kind of doing this out in the elements. And it's a bit more than I was planning on doing anyway. The bumpers, I did everything the same with the bumpers. I kind of wrestled with the thought of sanding them down, priming them, painting them, doing everything, because I brushed the Cora-Seal on. So as you can see, you know, there's, if you got up close, you'd see brush marks, but it's not meant to be a restoration. It's just, it's meant to get everything coated. It's a work truck, and just stopping the rust was kind of the main thing. I ordered rear leaf springs for it. The back 2 were bad, probably the original ones. The front ones seem okay. I don't even know if they're Toyota leaf springs. They said F350 on them. I don't know if they came off of I don't know what they came off of. So once I start getting these parts, the next goal is to get everything back together. I got new shocks. I got a new shock for the steering, and I got all new all those rubber parts, the grommets for the leaf springs, spacers. So then we'll go from there. This I'm gonna let cure probably for a week or two before I even start putting it back together. And so far that's the Toyota. That's as far as I've gotten on the Toyota. Ready?
Yeah.
So I just thought I'd give a quick shot of all the rest of the parts. Bumper parts, transmission, gas tank cover, protector. Sort of just did the same thing with all these parts. I hit every single one with Cora-Seal, epoxy primer, and paint. The goal with the epoxy primer is paint chips fairly easy, but that epoxy primer won't. So hopefully everything lasts. I was able to Cora-Seal inside my hitch receiver. That was quite rusted. And I was able to epoxy primer inside that as well. The only thing I forgot to do was to put the chassis black on the gas tank. The only slight difference with that is it's gonna be slightly shinier. This paint was quite kind of an eggshell finish. But I'll do another update once I put all the running gear back on, leaf springs, shocks and everything. And then we'll get on to the bed of the truck and the cab. And I'll do another update then.